Words are singularly the most powerful force available to humanity. We can choose to use this force, well, in a positive manner with words of encouragement, or we destroy ourselves using the same words of despair. Words have energy and power with the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to harm, and to humiliate, and also to humble. As words as the most powerful force to express yourself as a human being, choose them wisely before you utter them. When we engage in any speech, talk, we must discipline ourselves and choose our words wisely. Before you speak, think. Or anytime you speak, take time to think about before you contemplate what you will say and the purpose and the meaning before your words. Moreover, do not tell people things that they do not need to know. And the golden rule, it's a secret. Yes, it's a secret, and I'd like to share it with you. Make sure you keep the secret. It's always important for you to do that. If you have nothing good to say, if you have nothing good or kind to say nothing. Make sure you keep that in mind. The second one is do as you would treat others with justice, kindness, and respect. Now, in the Bible, according to the word of God, Proverbs 18, verse 21, I read, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Now, I'm a Christian. That's why I gave you that short exhortation about, the power of words. What's your religion? Does your religion support that you choose wisely with your words, that your words are powerful, that you do exist with your word? Please share it on the comment section below. Now, I want to clear this also. I'm a Christian, so I might use that emphasis. And if we have other religious bodies here, I'm sure they'll be able to defend their own religion. So pardon me that I talk in terms of Christendom. So the earth was formed by the spoken words of the Creator. It is believed that God created us in his own image and likeness, making us gods on earth. This can be concluded that we are gods, can speak creation of our words, what we desire, and they surely will come to pass. Now, there are two amazing experiments done. I'd like to share this quickly so we could rush into the show. It's water and words. A Japanese scientist, Mashu Emoto, performed some of the most fascinating experiments on the effect that words have energy in 1990. When the frozen water that free from all impurities will form beautiful ice crystals that look exactly like snowflakes under a microscope. Water that has been polluted or has had substances like fluoride, yes, will freeze without forming crystals. In his experiment, Emoto poured pure water into vitals, labeled them with negative phrase like "I hate you" or "fear." After 24 hours, the water was frozen and no longer crystals under the microscope. It yielded gray, mishappening clumps instead of beautiful lace-like crystals. In contrast, Emoto placed labels that say things like "I love you" or piece on vitals of polluted water. And after 24 hours, they produce gleaming, perfect crystals. Amato experiments proved that energy generated by positive or negative words can change the physical structure of an object. This result of this experiment was detailed in a series of books beginning from the hidden messages in water, where you can see a stunning before and after photos of incredible water crystals. And the second one is the power of gratitude. In another experiment, Amato tested the power of spoken words. He placed 2 cups of cooked white rice in separate mason jars and fixed the lids in place, labeling one "thank you" and the other one "you fool." The jars were left in an elementary school classroom, and the students were instructed to speak the words on the label to the corresponding jars twice a day. After 30 days, the rice in the jar that was completely insulted had shriveled into black mass. The rice in the jar that was thanked was as white and floppy as the day it was. This dramatic example of the power of words is also detailed in Amato's book. So I borrowed it from one of the books on the internet, and that's why I'm using it. So I hope you can see why it's important for us to be careful the way we choose our words. Now, if this is your first time of watching, this is Mind Closet 101. My name. And I'm the host of the show, it's Bromwachinemelo. You can call me Michael if Wachinemelo is really difficult for you. But my name, again, is Bromwachinemelo. Yes, if you check your time, it is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm saying good morning to all our viewers in the US, Canada, Cuba, Mexico, and Peru. It is 3 p.m. West African time. That's Nigerian time. And it's also 4 p.m. Central African time. So I'm saying good afternoon to all my brothers and sisters on the West Coast of Africa, and also Botswana, Burundi, Egypt, Libya, Rwanda, and South Africa. Now it is 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So I'm saying namaste to all Asia. Now, Mind Closet 101 is the illusion of the mind. If you're perfect, be the first to cast a stone, judge not, and you shall not be judged. This is a live coaching show that gives people the platform to ask questions that have been locked in the closet of their minds. Also, a one-on-one avenue for people to freely interact and express their inner thoughts without being judged, where everyone can learn from different experiences, opinions, and not only permitted to talk about our victories, successes, but also our failures, mistakes, and burdens. We discuss more of life-related issues that affect our daily lives, like mental health, relationship, family, communities, and the world at large. And the show is always 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 3 p.m. West African time. So now, introducing my guest. I have 2 amazing guests, beautiful ladies, mothers. One is grandmother, and she'll be celebrating her birthday tomorrow, although I'm going to wish her happy birthday in advance before then. But she's a clinical psychologist, an author, a mother, an entrepreneur, and a TEDx speaker. She is the principal consultant and CEO of Maximum Training and Development Center, all the way from Nigeria state capital, Abuja, a mother of 2 amazing boys. She speaks Igbo, French, and English fluently. Her name is Ifoma. I'll try today. I must make sure I pronounce that name properly. Her name is Ifoma Ifechelobi. Yes. And let's say it.
Thank you for having me, Wachinemelo.
Now, did I pronounce your surname properly?
Ifechelobi.
Ifechelobi, yes. I said it well.
It's not Obi, Obi.
My sister. I am it's Ifechelobi. But
no. Obi is the homestead. Obi is the heart.
Oh, okay. Obi. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Obi. All right. That's the heart. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Obi. All right. No problem. No problem. Good to have you on the show. Thank you for honoring this.
Thank you.
And it's our custom. So tell us good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. If you can in
Oh,
French, do that.
all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Nigeria to across the world. Dalo no ekene mu no nkonye chili ya zelo.
Mm,
Geno ntị n'okwu anyị tata. It's amazing to be here, and I hope you enjoy the show.
thank you. Thank you so much for I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that introduction. Now she was born at Baltimore, Maryland. She's a reverend, a nurse, a filmmaker, shame and guilt educator and counselor, a beautiful hot grandmother with three amazing hot and beautiful daughters, with three cute, handsome grandsons, and a wonderful, handsome, and amazing partner. Her name is Lois Hollis. Hello, Lois. She here? All right,
I'm
she's
here.
there. Wow. Hi, Lois.
Hi.
How you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm extremely well and happy. My birthday.
Oh, happy
Is,
birthday.
is it today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm 77.
Yes, I know you'll
Yes.
be marking
Wow.
27. And you look beautiful and still young.
Of course.
Good to have you on the show. Um, do you have any other language you know how to speak?
No. I know how to
Okay.
pray and cuss in Polish.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
All right.
That's all. I'm 100% Polish.
All right. Can you tell us good morning, good afternoon, good evening in Polish?
Uh, Dzień dobry is
All
good
right.
evening. I don't know good
Okay.
morning. I can
Good.
pray.
Beautiful.
Die Meintes in the Jewish Antego Amen.
Mm.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Today we're really discussing an important topic that affects us as human beings: the power of words. And I'm a Christian. I know the Bible says the tongue is the least, but it's also, should I say, the most dangerous part of our
Mhm.
body. And the tongue makes us and the tongue destroys us. But, not everybody's a Christian. You understand? We have our different religions and races, but at the same time, this same thing applies to every one of us: the power of words. Let me start with Informa. What are words as a psychologist? What are words?
Mm. As a psychologist, I'm not sure that, as a psychologist, that there's any different meaning, to what words are. But words generally are spoken speeches that would usually come out as, in terms of language. And I want to focus on, verbal language, spoken word. And it's a way we express ourselves and interact with the world. So I mean, there are also signed words and gestures that are all words. So that's to say that there's the spoken language and there's the body language, there's this gestured language. All of these
Mhm.
things are, expressions of you know what's on our minds, reactions, our responses to the world.
Mm. Lewis,
Mhm.
you're a reverend and also a counselor, and you're a filmmaker. And I know words are really, really important in your field as a reverend and also as a filmmaker and also as a counselor. What are words in those three fields?
I to add to what you have said, which is perfect, is that words are a way of expressing an energy. We can give out love with our words, or we can
Hmm.
give out shame and guilt. We have, like you
Okay.
said in the beginning, we can decide how we want to give. Do you want to give love expression or do you want to give a shame guilt expression? And it matters what words we say, but really more importantly is our tone. I love you or I love you. There's a difference in our tone of voice. So I would have that expression of love is more tender. And then when someone mentions, you did really bad and you're hateful and you're mean, you tend to have a hard or harsh voice. And therefore, you're giving an energy that doesn't make the water pretty. It makes the water get hardened. And if the water gets hardened, so does the cells of our body. So does our DNA, our liver, our organs, our mind becomes hard and solid. But when we give an expression of love, we tend to be more relaxed and we can receive the spirit of love.
Hmm. Madam Informer, how,
Yes, please.
why are words so powerful?
Okay, I think that you started by saying that the world itself was created using spoken words.
Yes.
Um, I'm trying to stay in between psychology and the scriptures because I'm a
Okay.
Christian and I'm a psychologist. But let me
Beautiful.
start with what is scientific and empirical. Now, we interact with the world using our words. We perceive the world using our ears. That's what we hear, what we see, what we taste, what we smell, what we touch, and sometimes our sixth sense, which is our proprioceptive sense. That's how we perceive the world. That's how we receive the world. So we receive all of these stimuli and we process them internally. And then we respond using
Mm-hmm.
mostly our words. I mean, if you look at perception, that is receiving, we receive through at least five senses. So I could even say six senses, like I said earlier, if we add the proprioceptive sense. So we receive through all these senses. But truly, we respond mostly using our words. Yes, we respond using our touch. We could
Mm-hmm.
respond, speaking with our eyes and all that. And all of those things are words. So basically, our response to the world is through words, whether they are verbally spoken words or, expressed in other ways, using our eyes, using our gestures, using our words, using relationships. We speak in all those ways. So, in effect, what it means is that the currency of life itself is in words.
True.
It is words that we interpret, it is words that we give out, it is words that we actually receive. Because when you see things, when you receive a picture of an image, your brain gives it a name. And that's to say that your brain
Hmm.
speaks to you what that thing actually is. So, really, the currency that we exchange with is words. And so, whatever we do, we become, we create. We create and do and become in words. Because if I'm thinking about maybe creating this bottle, I have to
Mm-hmm.
think about it in terms of a description, a word, a form, even before it becomes literal, before it becomes verbalized. All of that or those conversations going on in my brain are going on in terms of language, in terms of words. And so, and I think that's why James would say the tongue, even though it is small, is the
Yes.
strongest,
Yeah.
of all the parts of the body.
True.
And there are several neurological experiments, researches that show that the speech center of the brain is actually the most active part of the brain. Because, and like I said earlier, that is because everything that we do is interpreted in terms of words, whether we are perceiving, whether we are responding. All of those communications come to us and make sense in terms of language, in terms of words. So basically, like I said in summary, words are the currency, or rather, words is the currency that we transact with in life.
Beautiful. Words are the currency that we transact with in life. Lois, what's your take on that?
Well, she's correct. That's how we communicate. So that's why words are so important. It's very interesting to know that for every negative word we take on, because someone can tell us something, but that doesn't mean we take it on.
True.
We have that choice. So it's important to people to know that even though someone is saying words that are harmful, we can energetically refuse them on our self. However,
Yeah.
if we accept those negative words, which most of us do, it takes 5 positive words to correct 1 negative word. I find that very interesting. And
True.
I think that this is how positive affirmations were born, because we're working to override the negative influences that we have all received in our lifetime.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
if one
Yeah. What?
negative
Go
word
ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
takes 5 positive words, how dangerous are these negative words that we all unconsciously throw out?
Hmm. 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 Now let me ask: how do words have power? How do they
They,
have power?
they have power because they have the energy. Everything is energy. And it's what frequency or what energy we're conveying to someone, either positive, love, or damning, dangerous, shame, guilt words. It's either positive or negative. And not only the words, but it's the tone of voice we use. Now, we can not criticize, but help someone saying, I think it would be better if you would cook this food with more eggs or more flour, which is a lot better than say, boy, you're really stupid. You can't cook. You have to use flour, not eggs. Do you see the difference? So you can still tell someone a suggestion, but you don't have to use those words with that energy. That's where the insult comes. So we need to express our minds, because that is how a lot of mental illnesses have become, because we are denied our own truth, our own voice. I'm saying that we need to speak, and we need to speak our truth, even though it's contrary to what culture is saying. But we can say it in a way that's not harmful.
Okay, to add to okay.
Go ahead. Go
Mhm, go
So
ahead.
ahead.
to add to that, I think that what you said, Lois, what you said earlier, catches it completely. Words are energy. The universe is, will I say,
Energy.
carried, yes, carried by energy. It's energy, it's all energy. And so we
True.
exchange. I like to a lot of times see it in terms of radio frequency energy, and how
Hmm.
we make calls, we receive calls, we
True.
dial, and then it connects to another phone, maybe someone thousands of miles away from where we're calling from. It connects and we're able to transact. That's the way the universe is. And so it's an exchange of energies. And a lot of times, like we said earlier, it might not even be verbally spoken. Like Lois was pointing out, to how important it is to shape your words kindly. And a lot of times it might not be, like I said, it might not be verbally spoken. It might just be exchanges within an environment or between a set of people. But whatever, it's so amazing how words carry whatever is on the inside of us and actually brings it on the outside. And you can imagine what has the power to either empower someone or to completely destroy someone. Just one word. I mean, the whole experience of psychotherapy is the power of words, because there's nothing else I do with you when you come into my clinic for, whatever. It's word healing. It's just words that drive you to recognize your abilities and to cope. Now, words have the ability to heal as well as they have the ability to completely destroy.
True.
And so the power of words, how do words have power? It's in the energy. It's that the whole form of life. You remember the scripture you read in Proverbs 18? The whole form of life is in words. And the whole form of death is also in words. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And what does the tongue do? It speaks. So every time we open our mouths, we are releasing energy. So we're either releasing negative energy or positive energy.
Beautiful. Lois, you talked about the tone, and my question goes to: does the tone really have an effect in passing a message? It's just like, I want to tell you, Lois, I love you, and I say to you, spare me this, please. I just want to do it the way it's been done. Lois, I love you. Then, Lois, I love you. So you can see that the tune that's actually not, they're not actually the same. One is kind of friendly and romantic, while the other one is kind of harsh. So
yes, that's very true. But dear one, your heart has so much love in it that you can't do damage even though you're doing it loudly. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you can't do it wrong because your heart is so full, your heart and your soul are so full of love. You're just, I love you, or I love you. Either one works for you because of who you are. We are a representative, like you talked about it, of who we are. We express who we are with our words. Oh, I love you. No matter what you say, it's going to be accepted because of your heart and soul energy. That's where the confusion comes in. It's not only the words, but it's the heart and soul love that you put into the words that I receive, because I'm empathic, so I really get it. That's really important.
But I don't know if you get to understand this, but as humans, we have some people that have this kind of harsh tone while talking. You understand? They'll probably trying to pass a good message, but the way it comes in as if it's like as if they're quarreling or having a fight with you because of their tone. Now,
that's different. That was different. What you just said, was a different
Okay.
energy. I felt it. It's not good. It's interesting
Yeah. Or
that you're exactly right. That voice is damaging.
because I'm looking at they might be passing a positive message, but the tune, I'm looking at the tune in which, because if I really want to scold you, I will have this kind of high and harsh tone of scolding. And some people, like in my country, Nigeria, we have some people, if they talk to you, they have that harsh tone,
Okay,
that kind of.
that is yeah, I get it. Yeah,
So now,
and that's true.
but the message, the receiver of this message, what do you think will go into the mindset? Because the way I said I love you now, you know I love you from the depth of my heart. But for example, you're meeting me for the first time, you really don't know me. And I'm trying to express that I love you. And I said, I love you, I love you. Now, I'm bringing out that expression from my heart. But you that, probably you have this, which is not only you that have the mindset. Generally, everybody has this mindset of, oh, he's angry, that's why he's shouting. I don't know if you get it.
I do understand it.
You see?
However,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's deeper than the surface that we're talking about. You can
Okay,
get away with that. Someone else cannot, because
good.
their anger is linked to very deep anger and shame and guilt. Your loud voice is not linked to that. It's everyone
Mm-hmm.
is different. And that's where I think the confusion comes in our culture. You can get away with that. Other people cannot.
Yeah,
Does that make a sense? It depends
yeah.
on you personally how your words come out. Some other person can say the same thing and their words don't come out with love. They come out
Mm,
with their message of what's inside of them. That's why it was really important for me to say we need to talk our truth, even though our
mm,
truth is not what other people want to hear. But we can
mm,
say that truth in a non judgmental way. And the less shame and guilt we carry, the more our voice, our tone, our words is loving. That's why I
mm,
have concentrated on helping people release the shame and guilt overload that all of us carry. Because the less we carry, the better our tone of voice will become. Because it's all unconscious. We're not thinking of every word we say.
true, true, true.
And
Um,
also, go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
I would like to mention that the words we tell ourselves are very important.
Mm,
There are two
mm,
words that I would like to take out of the language. The two words are just and only. People talk a lot or write, I'm just thought of you now and I want to write you a letter. Just tends to deminimize our self. I thought of you today. How does that sound instead of I just thought of you today? The just
mm,
is not necessary, but it demeans that person. I just
mm,
thought about you. I just wanted to let you know. Take the word just out, and only is another word that really should be deleted from. I don't know your vocabulary and I don't know other languages, but words that tend to say that are demeaning to the person. I only want to apologize. I want to apologize. That
mm.
Okay.
is very. Why are you laughing?
No, I was thinking about the contexts,
Yes,
of what you have just said,
yeah.
because I don't know if this is cultural, but I don't think it is. For instance, if I haven't seen someone in a long time and I just, and the person just walks in and I say, do you know, I just thought of you today. Like, like I just thought of you and you appeared. That's not demeaning in any way. It's more like wow, like could it be my thoughts, my, my wishing to see you that brought you? So it's more
Yeah.
like it, just in that sense. Well, I think
And
that it's context and semantics. So just in that sense may not, mean like, oh, I just in the sense of not really important, but just in the sense of immediacy. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought of you, and you walked in. That's what
I'm
I was
wondering,
thinking, and I started to
yeah,
laugh.
yeah, I'm wondering if we could use another word than just, because just can go either way. Another um, example would be people that write emails. I just
Mm,
I just want to say this, even though it's not the best. I'm just doing the best I can do.
mm,
That way, it's demeaning to the person and also to the one that's receiving it.
Mm.
I tends to be more apologetic, which is we need apologies, but sometimes we
mm,
can go overboard with apologies, and that demeans that I just tried to do that, I just did this. So it's more of a victim type attitude that can happen to people and also the ones writing it. But you're correct, just in that way can be helpful. I don't know another word on the top of my mind, but
mm.
that's two words that I know that can be very, if overused.
Yeah, I get the point.
Um,
Thinking
okay,
about
go on.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, thinking
go on.
about it, from what both of you have just said, I was just thinking that really, like we said in the beginning, while introducing that, actually, what words are expressions, like they're a channel by which we bring out what's on the inside. It's just like what Jesus was saying to the disciples, that it's not what goes into a man in terms of what we eat and drink that defiles the man. It's what comes out of the man, because what comes out of the man is a product of who the man is, and it's a product of what the man has seen, heard, experienced, watched, listened to, the traditions that have been practiced around the man, and things like that. All of these investments into the man, they are more like uh, an engine house where the man processes, life. And so what comes out of the man is actually what defiles the man, and not what he eats and what he drinks. And so thinking about that, it's I was thinking that, is it really about tone? Yes, tone and voice and all that, they do really matter. And that points us to the fact that every individual needs to watch who they are becoming, or who they even already are.
You're making a point
Because,
there.
yes, because that determines what comes out of you, what you're giving. Because life is what you have received, how you're processing it, what you are giving. Are you able to cope with what you have received? Are you able to contribute with what you have received? And so it seems
Hmm.
like even the tone, a lot of times, is determined by the processes we have gone through, the journeys that we have gone through, that have made us. And then from the wealth or the impoverishment of that, we bring out whatever. And so it's amazing how, even when we're on a journey to a better life, more like when we are on our growth journey, and we are saying to ourselves, maybe I'm saying to myself, I think I'm really an angry and impatient person, and it keeps coming out in the way that I respond to people.
Hmm.
And that's where intentions also come in. So there could be that there might be a likelihood that, oh, I really want to express kindness, but I haven't really learned how to express kindness. Maybe because of my culture, you know, and then I express it in a certain way. The tone of voice is not correct, is not soothing, but that's my reality. And you know, that's why a lot of times when I talk, I ask people to go beyond, you know, your truth to the truth, because it is the truth that brings us into how do I put it now, into effective and even efficient relationships. My truth might have been colored, not might, my truth is colored by my experiences.
True.
But the truth is standard. And so, you know, even though religion tends to be the center of deriving standards for us, and I do know that all your listeners are not Christians, but I think that, you know, within every religion, there tends to be a certain standard, a certain truth, you know, which if we tend to drive towards, we can enhance our personal truth, our authenticity, because the difference between all of us is simply our experiences. And so it is like, you know, like you were saying earlier, when you were saying I love you to Lois in the two different ways, you know, I'm very Igbo, you know,
Yeah.
and I thought about how my Igbo brothers would, you know, Igbo men have a very unique way of expressing love.
Yes.
And if you're not accustomed to our culture and you're a woman, you're probably going to divorce the man in 6 months.
True.
Because
That's correct.
because because it's very crude,
Yeah.
but understanding it as an Igbo woman,
Yeah.
you know, having grown up in that culture with completely Igbo people, it is very amazing and sweet at the same time. But you really do need, but you really do need to understand that culture to appreciate it, because it doesn't come out sweet. It doesn't come out nice. But that's not to say that my brothers shouldn't grow. And that's why I said it's important to have the truth right in the center of your heart, so that your truth, which is colored truth, can actually drive towards a universal truth.
Lois, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say that since we need a lot of positive words to talk to ourselves, words that we say to ourselves are thousands of times more powerful than what another one says to us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we can override the negative words that we all received. We're never going to get rid of that. So we have to take matters in our own hands. Everyone has a certain amount of words that work with them. Not everybody has the same words, comfort words. So for me, I had to override a lot of negative comments within my life, especially childhood, because I was dyslexic and had many learning disabilities. So I had to do a lot of repair work. So I always said, I did good. I did good. I did good. I even went so far as to talk into a microphone and record it. And I recorded that I'm good. I did so good. I am pretty. I am happy. I did good. People love me. I love me. I needed to hear that in my voice. That's why um, self-help tapes are good. But if you can record your own voice, it's thousands of times more powerful because
Mm,
you receive it in your own energy.
yeah.
So I recorded I'm good like 1,000 times and I put my earphones on and I listened to it for a long time. And in a couple weeks, a month, I changed. It was not, it was the mind change, but my heart and soul heard it. So that was really very powerful to me to do. And now, when I drive in the car and I get lost, and instead of saying, "Oh, why can't I do that?" I say, "Oh my goodness, I only got lost one time. I did good. I didn't get lost 3 times." No matter what you do, you can say, I'm dead good. I did so good. I burnt the bread in the oven only one time today. I didn't do it 2 times. I did good. I did good. So that is my mantra. I did good. In fact, my film that I'm producing in January of next year is called I'm Good.
Mm.
Wow.
We hope to have it
So,
here. You're going to talk about it here on Mind Closet 101.
oh, it's going to be so awesome. I'm so, so very excited. So that
Yeah.
is my way of healing myself. Also,
Mm.
I have been very, very, very blessed to receive words from spirit, from God, whatever people relate to. These are automatic writing words. And I have given them to you, Michael, the light language words. These words were given to
Yeah.
me to give to other people so that we can start to heal on that unconscious level. These words go
Mm.
to our heart and soul first. All words that we read in a book go to our mind,
True.
correct? The light
Yes.
language that I write from spirit goes to our heart and soul first.
Mm.
Then we read with our mind. So the light language is sending the frequency, right, that we talked about. The frequency of the words are going to our heart and soul. I do not know how scientifically the light language works because that is a whole nother realm. But what I do know is the light language that I write and I give to others to read has the frequency of light, language, and love that we do not receive on this earth plane. Even though we say it with great joy and love, there is another frequency that is not being told within our earth plane. And it comes with these words. The words that I write have a very definite following. Each word is put especially before or after another word. It's very, very, when I write, each word comes to me and I do not receive the next word until I write that word. So the placement of the words is very, very important.
Let
That's
me,
what
let,
I do.
sorry. I'm not cutting you short, but you said the light word, right?
Pardon the life,
You said, is it the life word or the light word?
light,
The light
Light,
language.
light language. It's called light language. The story,
Okay, the
the
light
words of
language. Can
light.
you break it down for people to understand?
It comes from light and love,
Okay.
has a certain energy. And
Yes.
it's fine for us to say, I love you, and
Okay.
it makes you feel good, and I did good. These words are very helpful. But there's
Mm.
another realm that we all know about, that God's realm, that has a stronger energy, but our mind doesn't understand.
Okay.
But it goes to our heart and soul, and our soul understands.
Yeah.
And you have read my words, Michael,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's why I gave them to you to share with others. So there are ways to heal us. That's my whole point. We can heal ourselves with whatever negative that comes to us with I'm good, someone else can do something else because of the culture that your mother might have called you a certain name that you love, and you can keep calling yourself that because that's whatever makes you lovable, you say to yourself. And you can say it as many times as you want. And
Absolutely.
we need to offset that. Of course, therapy and other things are important. Everything's important. But I want to give something that people can take away today and start using and say, I'm good. Even though you did something wrong. I did good. I only goofed up 2 times today, not 4. You can always find something positive.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
okay,
ahead.
okay. What you have just said is critically important because first of all, 70% of all the conversations that anyone would have in their lifetime, they have with themselves. It's the
Hmm.
conversations
True.
that go on in your head. And
True.
so you hold the key to your well-being.
Mm.
But then we cannot trivialize the impact of association and environment. There's a German neurologist that did an experiment. The English, I don't remember the German. It's measured in BP. That's his name is Bereskit or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I just go with the English version. It's called readiness potential.
Okay.
And I mean, this is something that I have toyed with, trying to create a culturally adapted version of in Nigeria, and I have found it to be amazingly truthful. And I
Mm.
mean, it is very practical. And the point is that willpower isn't something that we just muster up. It is
Mm.
something that grows in a
True.
person. And there's an instrument I have developed that I called the potential to be, acquired potential to be. Now, what is this whole thing about the readiness potential? These neurologists found out that when a person continues to access a certain set of stimuli, their brain begins to prepare to action those set of stimuli. In plain language, it's like what the Bible says in Proverbs 13, verse 20, or is it Psalms? He who walks with the wise shall be wise,
Yeah.
but a companion of fools shall be
Mm.
destroyed.
Proverb. Proverb.
And that's to say, if you continue to stay in a positive environment, you will turn out to be positive. 1 Corinthians 15:33 also talks about company, who your company are. Because if you have good company, you turn out to be good. If you have bad company, you turn out to be corrupted, because evil communication corrupts good manners. And so if you continue to listen to, achievements, people who have worked effortfully well, people who have invested in their talents, people who have, made good productions, people who have done amazing, people who have done great, that are your friends, that the people you listen to, that the kind of books you read, your brain receives that
Yes.
information as an action potential and begins to get ready to action those potentials. Now, if you stay among people who are hedonistic, for instance, Everything they talk about is sex, how they have carried this woman, how they have sex 10 times in a day. Everything they talk about, lewd dressing, lewd music, lewd books, lewd magazines. Your brain begins to get ready, readiness potential. Your brain begins to get ready to action those things. And so receiving is also as important as giving. It's important that you position yourself to receive goodness and to receive love. And this is why it's important how we raise children. Now, the human being is actually a spirit with a mind that lives in a body.
True.
And so somehow, God has a way also of connecting with us. Sometimes it might just be through interests. You love nature, you go out in nature, you're wondering about nature, and you begin to connect with your spirit that has the ability to connect with the Spirit of God. Now, there are people who live in such a poor, depraved kind of culture and tradition that it's almost impossible for them to access their spirit man and to connect with the spirit man, to the Spirit of God. And so all they have received is dark, and it has colored who they have become, and they are only able to give out of this darkness. You see, if you want water, and what you have in this can is Coke, no matter how much you desperately want to drink water, and you're only, sourcing your drink from this bottle, if the content of this bottle is dark, you can't drink water out of it.
True.
And I'm saying this to say that, Lois, it's possible maybe by religious acclimatization, associations that, we have come across in our growth path, we are able to access positivity and then use that to heal ourselves. There are so many people out there in the world that have not been able to see the light, to access positivity because of the environment in which they are. I find that Jesus' most fierce battle with the Pharisees is traditions. He kept telling them that you are standing in the way to heaven. You have refused to enter, and you have refused others to enter, because you're holding people down with traditions of men, not the traditions of God. So it's so important that, and I'm saying this out to all your viewers and listeners, it's so important wherever you are in your life, in your growth journey. Maybe you're someone who everything that goes on the inside of you is negative. You're sad, you're depressed, you're even on the brink of suicide. The first step is the step of opening your mind, opening your heart to receiving love, to actually dare to believe that there's light out there, dare to believe that there's love out there. If there's no other source of love, because I do accept that there are some people out there in the world who, within their immediate environment, there is no source of love and light. Their parents are broken, damaged people who have also poured into them their brokenness and their damage. The people living in their environment are probably broken, damaged people who continue to pour into them the same damage that they have, because we can't give what we don't have. And so these people have grown in this culture of damage and are not even seeing the need, because there's another experiment that comes to mind, the experiment about learned helplessness. You continue to experience a certain damage over and over and over again, and your brain begins to think that there's no escape. Dare to believe that there's escape. Dare to believe that there's love out there. Dare to believe that there's light. And like I was beginning to say, even if there's no source of light and love in your environment, I don't know, sometimes it's difficult to muster even the belief in God when you have been so damaged. God is a constant, just like the Bible says that He's not shifting like shifting shadows. He's constant. He's, you go, you come back, you just like the prodigal son. You've been bad, you've been terrible, you walk away from him, you go, you transverse the whole earth. You dare to come back to him. He is right there waiting for you with his love, with his everything. And I'm saying this to say it's important to access, because you can't even, like Lois was saying in her reality, you can't even begin to heal yourself or begin to exchange positivity with your inner self if you haven't received that positivity. I don't know, we have this in our center here, we have this character education, program that we do. And it's amazing that the first step, the first skill to build is the skill of receiving love. That's the first topic here, is the skill of receiving love. Amazingly, there are so many people who are so closed up and tight because of their experiences that they are so doubtful of the system that they're not willing to, even when love comes to them, they don't know how to open up and receive it.
That's why I want them to keep talking to themselves, because they need to heal themselves.
They
we
need
all need
to
to
know
heal ourselves. Then they know
need to
that
know that they can heal themselves. The problem
exactly,
is,
and it's a very simple
not knowing
way.
that you have that ability on the inside of you to heal yourself.
If we
Because
can
you
get
have
that,
never really, sorry, Lois, because you have never really received that light. Like I was saying, if this isn't water and you're drinking it and hoping that it turns to water, it won't. So there are some people who haven't received.
exactly, and that's why they have to receive it from themselves. We always want what my mother didn't give me, what my father didn't give me, what my school teacher didn't give me. We need to give it to ourselves, and we can. In fact, it's more important and more effective if we give love to ourselves, because then we hear it in our own voice, which is so much more powerful than the voices of others. We always seek their attention. They always seek their approval. We need the approval of ourself to ourselves. And we can do that because we are all humans. Human beings are very, very, very powerful. What we say to ourselves is thousands of times more effective than what other people say to us. When someone gives you a negative comment or something that, oh, that doesn't feel good. You don't have to go in your mind if it's negative. It's just like, oh, that don't feel good. You have the choice to say, I do not accept your comment. I give your comment back to you because I'm good.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
So
And
everyone
you're
can do
saying
that.
this.
Everybody can do that for themselves. Now, you don't have to say that to the person who's standing next to you. You can say that to yourself. I, Lois, do not accept your comment because I am good. And say thank you very much and then leave. So that's a
Mm.
simple technique that you can do because you need to, one, tell yourself you're good. Number two, don't accept comments that say you're not good. And that's your responsibility. And you can do that. It's very simple. It's just the awareness that we are not taught to do that. We are
Mm.
taught that we are what other people tell us that we are.
Mm.
We
True.
are not what we tell ourselves. So that's where the call, and I think that's in every culture. You are what your mother and father told you. You are what you tell yourself.
Don't accept comment.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Pardon?
listening.
So
No, not you.
we are what we tell ourselves. Everyone has a negative internal critic. Now we need to make friends with that critic, not shut them off. That's another long story. That's a whole
Mm.
couple hours. But we need to tell the inner critic, yes, thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comment, but I am good. I don't accept negative comments about myself. Take it back. Now we can say that to our mother, our father, our grandmother, our kids, whatever. We can teach our kids that too, because our
True.
kids go, "Oh, he told me this, he told me this." So I say to my kids, it's okay that they said that. You can never control what other people tell you. You can control what you take in. Okay?
True.
That's
Yeah.
your responsibility to control what other people say to you. And if you don't like it, you can say, I don't agree with you. I'm good, and walk away. Or you continue the conversation, depends on that. But you need to control what comes into you and what you say to yourself.
And I think that's why it's important to mind your circle. That's where I'm driving to. Because the truth is, there are people whose inner voice is basically negative. I
True.
work with children mostly. And, you talked about having dyslexia, maybe as a child. I work with a lot
I
of
still
children
have it.
who are, oh,
But
yes, it doesn't go
did you
away.
know that dyslexia makes a great filmmaker? Isn't
it
that
makes
interesting?
it makes a
You're very
great
creative.
it
You're
makes
very
a
creative.
great creative. In fact, I think that the beauty of dyslexia is that it's top-notch creative intelligence. So it
The
makes a
only
great entrepreneur, a great artist, a great anybody who uses
is
creativity.
creative because
I think that that's it.
I can
Oh,
think another way. But
yes,
being
absolutely.
knowing this, I have a proofreader that reads
Mm,
my writings before I send it out
yeah.
because I will definitely but I can listen to spirit and write perfectly. It's very
Mm,
interesting.
it
So
is.
dyslexia is
You
not a bad thing, people.
No,
It's
no,
a
no,
very
no, not
good
at
thing.
all. Not at all. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, So I have children coming into me a lot of times to say, "Oh, I'm terrible. I'm bad. I can't read. I can't spell. I can't this." And it takes a long process to get them to a place where they're able to see the beauties, the actual great, amazing things that they are able to do. Every day we go through this series of, no, Miss Ife, you don't understand. I know myself. I'm this, I'm terrible, I'm that, I'm all that. So really, there are a lot of people who have the
That.
stronger voice on the inside of them is the negative voice.
Yes. And
And
can
the
I? Yeah.
importance of this, the importance of what you are accessing, what you are receiving, is that it makes up your own voice. You know, a lot of times the things, the expressions you see on people's faces, the things you see people do around you, you grew up in a culture that is so hard on themselves, or you grew up in a culture that is maybe laissez-faire. You know, all of those things impact on who you end up becoming.
True.
And
Yeah.
who you become engineers the voice in your
Of
head.
that. Yeah. Can I offer a
It's
suggestion?
very important. I'm coming to that,
Yeah.
Lois, please. And it's very important that in realizing that your life isn't going to where you want it to be, or isn't giving you positivity back, or isn't even giving you wellness or joy, to realize that it's important to change your circle. And your circle isn't just, your friends. It's also what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, because these things begin to speak to you. And it's these things that change. Access therapy when you need to, because it is these things that re-engineer your voice, which is what Lois is talking about. If the inner voice that you have is negative, you will speak negativity into your life. So it's important that the inner voice that you have is the voice that gives the positive information that you need. The voice that understands that I am complete. One of the things that I always say to people is to recognize that you are complete. Everything that you need to make a beautiful life is already on the inside of you. But there are so many people who do not have access to that positive voice, to
And that's
that
what I want to
power.
mention. I want to mention that when someone has a negative voice inside of them and they're talking about that negative voice, I help people with that by saying, who inside of me is saying these words? We ask, who inside of you is saying these words? Now, the person will say to me, oh, it's my mother talking to me. Oh, it's my father. It's Aunt Evelyn. Oh, it's Uncle George. It's my school teacher. So by identifying who gave them the negative voice, the person can realize it's not them talking, it's somebody else talking. Do you see how that switch can be made? Who inside of you is saying this? Oh, it's my mother. Oh, Aunt Evelyn. Oh, that first grade teacher, she told me I was stupid. Is that your voice? No, it's the teacher's voice. Well, then you don't have to listen to the teacher's voice. You can say, no, that's not who I am. I am a very smart person. The teacher just didn't know me. Goodbye. I am good. I am good. So it's self-healing by finding the cause of the negative voice. It makes all the difference in the world
And that's where
when the person
coming
does
to
that.
you, and that's where coming to you has helped the person. Because
Yes,
without accessing that truth,
we
you
have to
know,
we have to live our own truth. We do not
absolutely.
live another person's truth
It's true.
about
Yeah.
us. We live
Yes.
our own truth. But people don't realize that the voice in their head is not them. It's somebody else talking to
Absolutely.
them. And when they
Absolutely.
realize that, then it makes, oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited because I am good. Aunt Evelyn just told me I was bad because I mixed the spaghetti with the meat, and she doesn't like that. Well, I'm not good. Evelyn thinks that. That's not what I think about myself. So it's a practice that we have to be conscious of every day so we can acknowledge what is true and what other people say about us. And this is
So,
done at a very young age. So it's embedded in us for a lifetime. So we have to go back when we're 5 years old and the school teacher said, you're really stupid because you're dyslexic.
Absolutely. So it's the point of that realization that I'm trying to say is critical.
Of course.
There are so many millions of people across the globe, maybe up to 60% of people do not realize the impact of all that they have received. And we're saying it here and it sounds very simple. It isn't. Because
but people don't
these
know
are
it.
experiences. Absolutely. So the point is getting people to know and to begin to open up to receive love.
That's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing today.
Absolutely. So,
pardon?
Okay, sorry.
I really will want to come in here. Okay, but if I'm just random, all right, I'll listen.
No, I'm just trying to say that it's important that people realize, that we have accumulated so much. And sometimes when you're even trying to break into a person's personality, they will not easily reconnect the sources of these things. Because sometimes it's not verbally spoken things. It's that all of growing up, every time I'm washing plates, someone comes into the kitchen and goes, more like, and it's not just my mother who does that, my siblings, my father, other people. So I just begin to get that thing that, I can't just get anything done right. At the end of the day, that voice of, I can't really get anything done right, doesn't end up to be, it's my mother's voice.
True.
It ends up as your voice.
Absolutely. It's a collective attitude that I experienced. And so I really don't, and it started from even before I became formally perspective. So it kind of just dropped without any sifting. And it's important that people begin to recognize that we need to open up to receive love.
Yeah. Who is telling me that? That's the secret question we need to ask ourselves every time. Who is telling me that? I am good. I don't accept that remark because I am good.
True.
And it turns a lot. And it's simple. It's simple to do. It's just the reminder of it. And so I thank you very much, Michael, for bringing this show together to tell people there is a simple way of getting to love ourselves. We all know we need to love ourselves. That is undisputed. But if if Lois doesn't give Lois love, Lois isn't going to love herself. And Lois has to love the 4-year-old inside of her, the 7-year-old inside of her, the inner critic, everybody inside of her, she has to love.
And even when I can't access
that. Eventually you do love yourself.
Let me share this. Before I started this show, I'm proud to say this. I know some people saying it on air, but 80% of people on earth in one way or the other has been abused. Let me say, let me just say, not just say 80, 90, and I'm sure 95% of human beings on earth in one way have been abused in their childhood, during their childhood days. Now, I remember growing up and, you try to do things the way you want to do them, and you feel it's better. And either your dad, my dad was a strict man. He's a retired soldier, actually, blessed memory. He kind of likes things to be done his own way, and you need to be perfect. I remember there was a time in Wygrave during my elementary days in school. I think I took 5th or so, and I came on that day, and he was like, "Why did you take that position that you ought to be like first or second?" And I told him, well, I tried my best. He said, "You didn't do your best. If you had done your best first." The boy that took first, does he have 2 heads? And that's our normal language here in Nigeria, especially in the Igbo culture. when you're not doing perfectly well, they'll tell you, your mates, do they have two heads? And that kept pushing me, and I found out that during those time, the next term, I didn't do well because I felt I was not good enough. So
of course,
it got to a stage again. I think something happened. Then he said, you can do this. So I looked at myself, I said, I can do this. And I came second the third time. So this kept, recurring. Then, talk about the abuse. Growing up in life, I felt I could not even do podcast. This very show I'm doing, I don't think I could do it before. I felt I was unable, probably a failure. I believed I was a failure before. I believe I was a nobody. I believed that I was a liability to people. I believe I was a problem. Everywhere I go, I have problems. But as I ran, okay, let me just share this on air. I happened to read The Secret. It was from The Secret my mindset changed. Then early last year, I said I wanted to create a platform where I could speak about the Word of God. And that's how I went into podcasting. Why am I saying this?
Wow. You give me tears.
Yeah. It got to a first stage in my life. I got the first stage while podcasting, while I was doing podcasts. It looked as if what you're doing doesn't have any impact. It's not making any impact on people's life. It's not really touching anybody. You're just wasting your time. You're just whiling away your time. You're wasting your resources, your energy, and But I looked at it. I said, no, I'll not give up. I know I'm doing something good. I know that I'll become one of the best podcasters Nigeria's ever produced. I kept saying positive things into my mind, and I won't, to be honest, here am I on IBM TV. Because if I didn't do any good podcast, IBM TV will not choose me to have a show. Even when I was thinking of a show, a friend of mine who's a brother, I call him a brother, actually, his name is Mercy. Mercy said, do Mind Closer 101. And ever since I've been doing this show, I've been seeing the impact in people's lives. I've heard comments, I've heard people saying, thank you for your show. Why am I saying this? If I had listened to that inner voice of people telling me when I was little that I was a failure, there will be no Mind Closer 101. And you won't be listening or watching us live. So it's really really good. And that's why I chose this topic, because to be honest, Lois, 10% of the world doesn't understand the importance of their words. Imagine when you're growing up as a child, I'll do something, I'll say, oh, you idiots. I'll call myself an idiot. And you notice the next day you come back, you still repeat the idiot act. Am I saying something? You understand what I mean, Lois?
Yes, I do. I tell my grandchildren when they do something, oh, I made a mistake, I did wrong. I said, you didn't do wrong, you did a da.
Well,
it was a da. It was like, da, I did something. And they would say, oh, Mom, I did a da today. It didn't do wrong, I just did a da.
Let me ask you this. How can one guide their speech?
How can one
guide his or her speech? Like, how can I guide my speech? Guard it in the sense that
Okay. What
Yes.
I do to help people is I have them make a relationship with their inner critic. We cannot turn the inner critic off. He or she is part of us. So
Yeah.
I help people write out, or I help them talk with their inner critic. Now, if you have an enemy and you need to make peace with them, what do? You negotiate. You
Yeah.
talk to them. When you don't talk with them, what happens to the war? It gets worse. Look
True.
at our world. People don't talk to each other. So therefore they assume the worst, and it doesn't help relationships for anybody.
Mm.
So we have to make peace. We are an ambassador to our inner critic. We need to say hi, inner critic. And that's what my film's going to be on, how to make peace with our inner critic. We need to talk with them because they're living in, my inner critic's living in 1950. I say hi, inner. I call him the judge, and he called himself the judge. And I
Right.
have the inner critic film on the inner critic on YouTube. If
Okay.
you can put that in the show notes, people can see how the critic acts within us and how we can talk with the inner critic and say, "Hi, how are you? It's the year 2020. You do not have to criticize me to do the right thing. I am an adult now. I
Mm.
know what to do. But as a young kid, I didn't know. So therefore, I listened to all the criticisms that they gave me. I don't need the criticisms to be good anymore. I am good because I'm smart. So that's how you make friends with your inner critic, and your inner critic then changes and is your partner, not your adversary.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Very, very, very important and very special. And it's very easy to do. We need to talk to our inner critic, find out who those words came from. And we don't use those words anymore because we're an adult, like you are. You're an adult, you have your own mind, you proved your worthiness. So we don't say those criticisms anymore because they're not necessary. The criticisms that were said to me before as a young kid made me do the right thing. But I don't need those criticisms anymore. I'm 77. I know what to do.
True.
So that's what we
True.
do. We talked with our inner critic to make friends, not to be our adversary.
So,
And
so you're saying you can just talk to your inner critic and ask, tell him that don't judge
hi,
me.
you no, you can't tell him what to do.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to make friends.
Okay.
Hi, hi, inner critic, what is your name? And they said, I'm God. Okay, hi, God, how are you? Because they're very narcissistic. Hi, I'm Lois. I don't want to talk to you. Well, I want to talk to you, God, because we need to be friends, not enemies. Oh, I don't want to talk to you. You don't know anything. Oh, yes, I do. I know a lot of things because I am older now and wiser, and I read a lot of books. And you're living in 1950. I'm living in 2020. So a lot has happened in those years. Oh, really? Nobody told me that. Well, I'm telling you that right now. We're living in 2020. The world is different for me. I don't need somebody criticizing me to do good. I do good because I listen to God. Would you like
Mm.
to be in my world for a while and see if we can work together? Because the criticisms are not good for you, and the criticisms are not good for me. We can't evolve. We can't be happy. We got to be happy together. So that's what I do with people in my sessions. I help them to communicate with their inner critic. Don't, fight, because you will always fight with yourself.
True. And let's please just be honest. Like, what's the duration before the healing comes in?
The healing comes when you say, hi, I'm Lois. I'm glad to meet you. That initiates the healing.
Okay.
You don't
Okay.
need years. Just say, hi, inner critic. What is your name? They got to give you a name. They give you the name. Some say the name of their father or their mother. It just depends. It's so much fun. The healing begins as soon as you say, hi, inner critic. I want to be with you. I want to talk with you. And usually the critic is so narcissistic. I don't need anybody. I'm fine. The inner critic is really the teenager inside of you.
I understand.
Okay, do you know how difficult it is to deal with the teenager? Yeah.
Sure.
That's who you got living inside of you telling you what to do. So
Mm,
you're the adult and you say, "Hi, how are you?" "I don't want to talk to you. You don't know anything." Well, we can only get better if we talk together. Would you like to have more power? Oh, they love that comment. Would you like to have more power? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me how I can have more power. You can have more power when we're friends, not when we're enemies. Oh,
mm,
nobody ever told me that. What do you mean by friends? I'm not friends with anybody. Oh, we can be friends. Oh, we got to talk about this. So that's what we do. We negotiate. And it's
mm.
fun. How fun is that?
Really fun. Really fun from the way you just said it. I'm gonna give it a try soon.
Okay.
Um,
I would suggest looking at my DVD on YouTube because it shows how you talk with your inner critic.
okay.
And
Okay.
I have the best inner critic teenager there. He's got all the words.
Okay. Why don't you share the link and I'll paste it while we're
Okay. You can go.
broadcasting it. I'm
I
gonna
have
put the link
I,
below.
I have it on my website,
Okay.
loishollis.com. But
Okay.
also, you can go to YouTube, youtube.com, and type in out of discord, DISCORD, into harmony.
Mm.
Out of discord
It's good.
into harmony. And my YouTube video will come up, and you will see Lois talking to her inner critic.
Mm, And to our viewers, I want you to please, because it's already on podcast as well. Just click on you'll see the link below. Click on it, watch it, and practice it yourself so that you can help be a better of yourself. Ifoma, good to have
Yes,
you
thank
back.
you. Sorry I went off.
I understand. I understand. Let me ask you this question as you're back. What are some of the most powerful words you've ever heard and people can use?
You want to know?
Yeah, I want to know. We want to know. Lois, don't you want to know?
The most
Yes,
the most
tell.
powerful word that I have heard and that I stand on every day of my life is Psalm 82 verse 6. Ye are gods. That's the
Wow.
most powerful. And every day it reminds me that God made me just in his image and his likeness. And every day I see a proof of that word, that people
Hmm,
are able to, sorry. Mm.
I understand.
Sorry, let me try to find light somewhere else. You know, that people are able to make something as huge as the airplane, like the Boeing or the A360, and
Yeah.
as huge and as heavy as those things are, they can sit in the air and
Hmm,
carry us thousands of miles from where we
true.
are. And
True.
it's someone who created a ship and sat it on water.
True.
So every day when I see these things, I really can reckon with the word that ye are
Ye-
gods and
hmm,
you are able to create, you are able to give life and
hmm,
even give death. Because that's the essence of that word, that life and death are in the power of the tongue. So every time when I try to conceptualize the weightiness of this word, I try to, walk in the light of that really there is no impossibility. And that's what I want to leave with everyone who's listening to us. There really isn't any impossibility. It's The universe is limitless, and it's amazing that God wants us to take dominion over this limitless universe and subdue it. For me, that's the most beautiful thing that I've ever heard. And you know, like what
Yeah.
Lois was saying earlier, I've also, like you said, we've all gone through all sorts of abuse. There was a season in my life where I was in, serious trouble in terms of abuse, and I struggled with all the things that I would hear every passing day, and it got to a point where I couldn't find myself anymore. I couldn't believe in myself anymore. And so I had to go put pen to paper and write. I started with my name. What does Ifoma mean? And I had to re-engineer all of those things that I had heard. I had to read those words to myself every day. And also, sometimes, like I was saying, when you can't find the real you, the the God factor on the inside of you anymore. Because there are so many people who are so broken by life that they can't find that voice anymore. Shift from that environment that is creating the toxin and re-engineer the inner voice. And that's why I pointed to the fact that God is constant. If you can't find it anymore, the pages of the scriptures, if you can't access the pages of the scriptures, even when you can't seem to believe it, just keep saying it. Just keep saying it. It's not making sense. Keep saying it. Like I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and reading those words and reading those words and reading those words until they began to make sense. And that there's just a responsibility that you have to take up, to move away from toxin and recreate a healthy environment.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's really beautiful. Lois,
Yes.
what's the beautiful, that's the same question goes to you. What's the most powerful word you've ever heard and you want to share?
I thank God with gratitude for giving me life. And I thank God for the ministry or the job that He has given me to perform at this time in my life to the world. So I am very grateful to God for blessing me with knowledge, information to share with others. I believe the best thing we can say to ourselves, for me, is I am good. That simple statement, even like you said, if you don't believe it, your mind will eventually, the inner critic will eventually hear another tone of voice to offset the negativity. If you can be grateful, a lot of times people and myself, you couldn't be grateful because of all the negativity in your life. Thank you. Be grateful for the trials and the problems you have in life. Thank you, problems. You have taught me a lot. Always thank whatever has happened in your life. Don't judge what happened in your life. Say thank you for that experience. Now you can add whatever you want. I can learn, I can be better, or I understand life better, but always thank whatever comes into your life. Thank you, and turn it around to the positive and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for my life. I can help others. I can do better. I can give your grace to others. Every morning when I wake up, I say, dear God, what do you want me to do today? What is my job? Every morning I ask God what needs to happen in my life today. What do I
Mm.
need to do for others? What do I do? What do I need to do with my website? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk? I always ask God's permission and love and thank Him for giving me a job to do.
Mm.
But He makes the rules and He makes the list.
True. True. Mm. Thank you for that one. I just learned a new prayer point. Every morning I'll just say thank you for giving me life and what do you want me to do? Because I believe everybody,
Everybody has a destiny.
yes, and they have a
Everybody.
purpose. Yes,
Everybody. And
yes.
thank you. And if you don't know your destiny, please, God, show me. Show
Mm.
me my job. Show me my way. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Always in gratitude.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Back to
Thank you.
gratitude again. That's the key to love. Thank you
Mm.
for your show. And thank you for being with me on this show.
Thank
I
you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lois.
Thank you, Lewis. We're to extend to what the words gossip, slander, and rumors, but we're already out of time, so I need to wrap up. All right, I don't think I have it. I wanted to ask one more question, but I don't think. Okay, let me just ask this, then we'll wrap it up. In what ways can words be dangerous?
Words are dangerous because they're like a shooting bullet. Think
Mm,
of what you're saying as you're holding a gun, shooting a bullet at someone. That's how
mm,
destructive words can be because it gives the whole body a place of negativity that goes downhill. Words are very um, powerful. They can go into love or they can go into shame. There's
mm,
no place where they're both. Words that you give can either do one thing or another thing, and it's your voice that carries it. The inner
mm,
voice of the inner critic and you. You're not saying it by yourself. That's why the tone is different. The inner critic sets the tone of your words. So that's why I'm saying you got to make friends with the inner critic because you may say the right words, but they don't feel right.
true,
True. And
true.
people have to know that. And they think, oh, what's wrong with me? Because he said the right words, but it sure did not feel good. Well, he's talking with the inner critic who hates you, who hates that person. And so your voice is not going to carry the love frequency that you want. The inner critic overrides that voice in its frequency, in its tone. That's
Mm.
why emotional healing is so important.
National Union. Wow, wow. Thank you so much. Ifeoma, what's your take on that?
Okay, basically, words create either life or death, and we need to understand their capacity. So, if you're creating out of darkness, there's something Jesus said. He said, if the inner man, if the inside of that man is light, it will bring forth life. But if the inside of that man is
Mm,
darkness, how great will the destruction be? And it's basically conveyed by words. We create, whether they are
mm,
spoken verbal words or gestural words or reactive words, whatever form the words take, it is in words that we carry and translate life. And it is in words and through words that we also carry and translate death
Mhm.
and destruction. So it's words can be dangerous if they're coming from a place of darkness. And so it's important that we are mindful of our inner mind, the inside of us, because that's where our words generate from. You see, I see a lot of times in therapy, people come in, especially during couple therapies, people come in and maybe this partner says, oh, but I just said this to him and he took offense. Now, when you go
mm,
into the nitty gritties of what was said and what wasn't said but implied, you see where the reaction is coming from. Because basically we are spirits, and we relate through words even when we are. So sometimes it's just like the example you were giving earlier. You might actually harbor something different on the inside, but you're playing to the gallery. But the truth is, it gets expressed maybe through your body language. You have actually said sorry, but then you haven't actually meant sorry. The whole body language that followed the spoken word is saying damn it, but the word that came out is saying sorry. So
yeah, it's the inner critic talking.
And so it's important that the inside of the man is not dark. That's where, the danger of the word. How can words be dangerous? The words can be dangerous if they're coming from a dark place.
It's just like out of the heart cometh out
of the abundance of the heart.
Yes.
It's in the same chapter. It's in that same Matthew chapter 12 that Jesus talked about. If the inside of the man is dark, how great shall the destruction be? It's that same chapter where he was talking about the mind of the man.
Thank you so much. Just rounding up, I remember a politician that died, I guess, this year. I don't want to mix words. I don't want to mix his name. So actually, there's this story he said. There's this story about him that I think he said his father died at the age of 70 or 71, that he doesn't want to, he wants to exceed that. He doesn't want to die below that age. So he believes that he will die at the age of 72, and he got to that age and he did die. So that's where the power of this little thing you see here,
the tongue,
very powerful. Please, viewers, and also our listeners, because please, in case you want to listen to our podcast, find us on every podcast platform, Mind Closet 101, and you can listen to podcasts. This show will surely be on podcast, but very soon. Can't guarantee you when, but soon. So in case you're going to be looking for it, just the powers of words. I do want to come up with the powers of the tongue, because if I do, people will say, oh, he has gone into Christianity fully. But no, I wanted it to be universal. I need everybody to understand how powerful our words are. Wake up every morning, look at the mirror, talk to yourself, tell yourself that you're beautiful.
You're beautiful and you're good.
You heard Lois. She said, you're beautiful and you're good. And I want you to please understand this. Nobody is ugly and nobody is it's evil. It depends on what you have in. Like in Igbo language, just like in the Igbo adage, they says, in the sense, when a man holds money, he's handsome. You understand? But this case, we're not talking about that. But I want us to please understand this, that it is good for you to speak to yourself. Tell yourself the truth.
I'm good.
You're good. You're always good. And you'll be good. And I believe if we do that, honestly, this world will be a better place for us to stay. Because while some of us are into crimes or into things that are not good, is because we really don't know ourselves. And the day we begin to discover ourselves by knowing the purpose why we are here on earth, I think this place will be beautiful to stay. The world is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And life itself is beautiful. But it depends on how you want it to be. If you believe that you'll be poor, so be it. It's just your words. It's just like a man telling his child, I overheard a man telling his child, money is evil. And I looked at him, I said, you lie. Money is good. And he was like, no, it's evil. It's the root of all evil. I said, if you put your mindset that money is evil, you will find money in the evil way. But if you know that money is good and you think that money is really good. You'll find money in the positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to all my guests, beautiful guests, thank you. Love you
Thank you.
so much. Love you all so much. Lois, where can people find you?
My website, Lois, Lois, Hollis, HOLLIS.com. And I'm posting 20 of my recent interviews, podcast interviews. I have 25 to date. So
Wow.
very interesting. I've become popular. And you can listen to different aspects of what we talked about today because everybody hears something in a different way. And that's
Yeah.
why it's important to get many people's opinion about the same topic. We all have a voice because we're all good.
True. All good. All good. Ifoma, please, where can people meet you?
Okay, on YouTube, it would be MTDC. On Facebook, Ifoma Ifechelobi. And that's the same on Instagram and Twitter.
Do you have a website?
And if you're in Abuja, yes, MTDC Limited.
Okay.
If you're in Abuja, our center is on Patrick Boko Crescent.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'll be having you two beautiful ladies again. And let me just give you a hint. I'll be having you two beautiful ladies. The next topic, we might talk about gossip, and another one, I might have other panelists, but I want us to talk about how to prevent our children from being abused. Because to tell you the truth, let me just say this. I think we really need to think about this and tackle it on time. Because my father was abused. My grandfather was abused. Then my father was abused. Then I was abused.
It's
And I don't want my
generational.
children.
Yeah.
I don't want my children to be abused. And you know, while growing up, you say certain things like, "Oh, I don't want this to happen to my child," because you've experienced it. But when it gets to that time, what impact have you done? You understand? And I believe it's everywhere because we've not been aware of this very topic. So soon we'll be having how to prevent our children from all kinds of abuse. We'll take them section by section, like emotionally abused, like bullying in school and other things. Then we have sexual abuse. Then we have all kinds of abuse. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I really appreciate you. Ifoma, I'm so happy today that your network so stable.
Behaved itself.
You really behaved yourself. And Lois, wow.
My film will explain why the children are recipient of their parents and the parents are recipient of their parents. And that is the focus of my film in January. I'm going to show it.
We're gonna talk about it here, so people will get to see it and watch it as well. And in case this is your first time, join us on our Facebook page, Mind Closer 101 Facebook page. You can also click on the IBM TV. Now it's now IBM TV.tv Facebook page. You can follow me on Instagram. We're watching Emelo, the name highlighted there. Just write it. You follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. On LinkedIn, I am Okechukwu Chukuma Omera. Please feel free to comment. Come again?
It will help. If it would help, I think in the past 1 month or about 6 weeks, we have been talking about emotions, as how they sabotage our success or how they help us to succeed. And I have extensively talked about how we form our mental scripts. And I have talked about extensively unconscious biases that we receive and pass on, in our environments. As regards what you're talking about, why, a father is abused, he abuses his son, the son abuses the next one, and all that. So it's all in the mental script of the person formed over time, and the unconscious biases that we end up defaulting to. And it's always amazing, especially when people come in for therapy, and you see someone for 10 years, they've been struggling with their anger. Their father was angry, and they know it's counterproductive, and they are so dedicated to coming out of that. And then every day they find themselves repeating the same things, and now handing over the same things to their children, because that's exactly what they do, in the family setting. It's a whole lot. But if it would help, you can find the videos on our MTDC YouTube channel.
All right, beautiful. You've heard it. I think you should go look for the videos and get to start building your minds earlier. It will help, so that this world will be a better place. And I wanted to talk about Dollar Store, which is one of our partners, but we're short of time, so I need to go. I've already exceeded my time. To all our viewers, please don't forget, you can send us your story, you can send us your question. If you want to be anonymous, we promise not to disclose your identity. Feel free to send us your questions, your comments, your experiences, which we can talk about on the show, and we promise not to disclose your identity. We need you can watch us and also listen and get to learn more about life. Before I go, don't forget, Med Friday is next, and for all those that love medical science, please don't forget, just tune in. Monday is Economic Monday, and also radio talk show with Mark Lee. Win, hashtag win with Win. That's with Win Charles. Please, if you're a woman and you want to, and you're disabled and you think you can't do anything in life, please watch that show. And it's also for women as well. Tuesday is World News COVID-19, and we have Celebrity Tuesday and Vivian China. Vivian China, it's the show all about, she'll tell you about China, their food, their culture, everything. So if you really want to try Chinese food, please watch Vivian China on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Startup Wednesday and Weed Wednesday. It's Weed Wednesday. It's where Jeff talks about how people that have been charged illegally because of weed, how he helps get them out. And he talks so much on his show about the benefits of weed. And on Thursday, we have Podcast Thursday, where all podcasters come together. We talk everything. We talk politics, we talk news, we talk health, we talk everything on Thursdays. On Friday, we have Financial Friday for those that want to step up in their businesses, entrepreneurs, and get to know more about their finances. Please tune into Financial Friday. We also have Mind Closer 101, where we talk about life issues. And we have Med Friday, which is next. It's already on, so please, you can tune in to watch Med Friday. We have Spiritual Saturday on Saturdays. Chess Stars with Sasha Star. And Sasha is actually a world champion in chess. So if you want to learn new moves, want to understand the game and improve your chess, please tune in to Chess Stars with Sasha on Saturday. We have also DJ Live on where you listen to live music. So if you're a music lover, please, and you want to dance, you want to party, remember, there's no clubbing because of COVID. So you can club with us. Yes, on Saturday with DJ Live. On Saturday, we also have Study Saturday and School of Economics with Sharif. Sharif is actually one of our hosts of that show. He's an economics, and he will teach you more on how to, regulate with the policies and also build your business better. On Sunday, Super Sunday, and the Alexandra May Cafe. She's my sister from South Africa. She always had musicians and artists and songwriters on her show. And if you really want to improve your music career, tune in on Sunday to the Alexandra May Cafe. Now, what would you be doing with your Friday? Informa, what will you be doing with your Friday?
Tonight,
This weekend, what will you be doing with your weekend generally?
Sleeping and reading.
Wow. And staying safe. And staying safe. And Lois, tomorrow is your birthday. I don't need to ask you what you'll be doing tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I am grateful to be here at 77 in good health and happy and starting a film. I mean, the main thing is I'm just grateful and happy and grateful that people like you all are in my life. I will sing and dance, and I'm planning a visit to see my family this weekend. And they're going to sing happy birthday to me, all my grandsons and everybody singing happy birthday. And they'll blow the candles out. They always do. But I'll think about it.
We'll sing happy birthday first. All right.
Thank you.
Let's go. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday,
dear Lois.
Happy birthday to Lois. Beautiful.
And many, many more.
Yes, sure. Returns of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you for blessing us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adios.
Adios. Now to all our viewers, thank you. And last week was my mom's birthday. Yes, I forgot to tell her. Happy birthday, Mom. And yesterday was my brother from another mother. Actually, he's the I'll say he's the mind closer 101. Actually, he inspired me and gave me so much support. His name is Aspita's Mercy Ozigi. My brother, I love you so much. Happy birthday. I asked for more grace. Yesterday was his birthday, and I'm happy to ask you to please help me celebrate him as well, because he's a special person in my life. And to the Mind Closer 101, he is the brain behind this show, and I love him so much. And to you, don't forget, stay safe, always wear your face masks. Don't go out unless it is important and necessary for you to go out. Stay safe till I see you next time, same time. To all our viewers in Africa, sorry, I have to say this. To all our viewers in Africa, we're sorry for the time change. We're experiencing daylight saving. Yes. So the show ought to be 2 p.m. in Nigeria and 3 p.m. in Africa time. So sorry, we're having that mix up. So now it will be 3, while in Africa it will be 4. Nigeria will be 3. That's West Africa will be 3. While Africa will be 4. So please bear with us with the daylight saving period because of what the US is experiencing. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to still meet me same time, same station, same time. God bless you. Signing out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.